Welcome to the Courage to Live podcast. My name is Josh Bitsko. I'm a retired police captain with 24 years of experience out of Las Vegas. Currently, I travel the country and I teach people about courage, resilience, and leadership. In today's podcast, we're going to talk about the idea of being ready. And what I mean by that is we're all faced with decisions or actions that have huge repercussions in our life. It could be retiring and starting a business. It could be having a huge idea and wanting to go pitch this idea, but knowing that, are you even ready for that? And I think a lot of us think that being ready for these big changes is more of a state of being than it is a choice. I've even seen this in when I'm talking to people about, they really want to try jujitsu, but they're like, I'm not ready. I'm not in good enough shape. I'm not, mentally prepared for it. But really starting something big is a choice. And you can just go in and take your first jujitsu class, and guess what? You're going to get in shape doing it. Or if you want to start a business, it is a group of small actions that each one of these are a choice. I'm going to go start an LLC, meet with an accountant, meet with a tax person, create a website, all of these different things that it takes to start this a new chapter in your life. But really we tend to, pause because am I ready yet? But being ready is more a choice than it is a state of being. So most of us, again, we think that readiness is a destination. When a time we'll have more confidence, we'll have time for it, we'll have clarity. But in reality, if you're always going to wait to be ready, that day's never going to come. So I go back to being ready is a choice, not a state of being. And once you decide to move, you become ready through action, through that forward action. And I'll tell you, making the decision to retire and start Bitsko Consulting was a huge change, a big choice, a big risk. And I'll tell you, even when I started, I didn't feel ready for it, but we just did it. And then every single day is filled with action towards that goal. We wake up and we start working and we start grinding on the business to get things done. And one of the things I've learned is once you make that choice, once you make that decision to start because you are ready, then your goal becomes clear. And if you work every day towards that goal, you're going to achieve that goal. Inaction can feel safe, right? Well, I'm not ready yet. But really what that is avoidance. You're avoiding taking the risk. You're avoiding making that, big change or making that big decision. And it can disguise itself as planning, or you're waiting for the right time and I have to think it through and I need to get ready. But every day that you wait, that path becomes longer, because if you started 6 months ago, then you would be so much further along than if you waited 6 months to start. And you know what they say, the best time to start, say, working out is 10 years ago. The second best time is today. So, and I understand that these big decisions are scary, right? It changes everything. It changes, your day to day and your life and your outlook on things. But also through that process of making that choice, you grow. And I look at where I was at when, we started this business to where I'm at today, and even the skills that I've developed over the last couple of years. I update the website and manage the website. I can, edit podcasts and all these things that even having phone calls with, potential clients, the very first time I was not good at it. I was very robotic, to now they're just turned into conversations. And that's all because I made that choice to be ready 3 years ago, rather than try to, plan and avoid and wait until the perfect time. Because I'll say it, the perfect time is never here. There's never a perfect time for these big changes. You're never going to be 100% ready. So changing that dynamic in your mind that, being ready is a choice, not a state of being. Thank you for listening today. If you liked what you heard, please share the podcast with a friend, leave a review, or subscribe. And if you liked what I talk about, there's more in my book, The Courage to Live by Josh Bitsko. It's on Amazon. And I appreciate you spending time with me today.